Nancy Jackson, and I've been making jewelry for over a decade. I'm an instructor as well. Come join me as we explore the world of jewelry. So now I'm going to draw my pattern on here with a Sharpie, and then I'm going to take my saw and I'm going to saw that out. Now remember to always lubricate your saw before you begin. And start at a place where you can start straight. So this you could really pretty much start anywhere, but you wouldn't want to start here, go up so close to the end, and then turn. So I recommend that if you start here, then when you saw all the way around, you'll have a straight shot, cut it off and be done. So now always when you want to saw up and down, but when you're getting started, tilt your saw just to get a notch. Once you've got your notch, turn your saw perpendicular. Do not press in. Let the saw do the work. Gently pull down and push up. If you push the saw blade, it will break. Now, this will cut your fingers. So very often what I will do is I will move my fingers around behind the saw blade to hold it in place. This doesn't always work with some pieces and some shapes that you're sawing, but if it will work, let me encourage you to always do this to keep your fingers safe. I always saw on the outside of my Sharpie line. That way, if you need to sand or make adjustments later, you have at least that width of the Sharpie to maneuver in. Sometimes, especially if you're new at this, your fingers may start to cramp. So just let go, move your fingers, and then reposition and start again. It won't be long until you build up enough strength in your fingers that you can saw for long periods of time without having to reposition. There is no need to saw fast. Slow and steady wins the race. You'll move much more material than if you just saw it in a fast motion, because generally when you saw in a fast motion, you're sawing on the center part of the blade. You do not want to do that. It will wear your blade in that one spot and it will break. Use the full length of the saw blade. as you come to a place where you need to turn the piece, don't turn your saw, turn your piece. My saw is getting to where it sticks a little bit. It needs more lubrication. So I'm simply going to pick this up with my piece resting at the very bottom. I'm going to re-lubricate on the wax. I'm going to move it back over to my pen, reposition it, and start again. Much better. Now I know that there's a little bobble there that I made when I drew it. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that off. Notice that my saw is still in the same place. I'm merely moving the metal. Also, you must have your saw blade in motion when you turn the metal. Otherwise, it will put it in a bind and it will break. So always turn when the saw is in motion. Yes, it's a little bit like rubbing your head and patting your tummy or vice versa, but you'll get the hang of it soon. Sometimes as you're sawing, the debris will pile up on top and you cannot see your line. So what? Merely stop, blow it away, and continue. As you come to the end, you will have all of this loose, so make sure that your fingers are holding down both this piece and the outer pieces so it doesn't flop around. And just like that, you're done. Now, every piece that you saw out will need a little bit of filing or sanding. to give it a nice smooth edge. As you sand, you'll be able to see where it shines and where it doesn't shine. But that's how you saw. Now I want to show you what to do when your saw blade does break. This is a Green Li-ion saw, and it only has the 2 screws. Barely undo them. Take out your broken saw blade. Do not open them up all the way. You just need the width of a saw blade. My favorite saw blade is a 3/0, or they call it 3/0 very often. I do like to keep my saw blades in these acrylic test tubes. I can write with a Sharpie on there what it is, and they're just very handy. I didn't need a new blade. I could have just put it back in here, but I wanted to show you where I kept them. So I'm going to pick my blade up. You'll see how flexible it is. Now I've got a diagram because often students, when they're new to this, they forget how to put the teeth in, and I will insert it into this video. The teeth point down, and you can feel them if you just barely run your finger or thumb across it. If they're catching, then they're pointing down. Now if I was running it this way, they'd be pointing up. You're going to rest the blade on the 2 screw pivots. Let me turn it around and do it with this hand. So I'm going to put one end of the blade in there, the other end of the blade in there. So I have the blade resting on those screws. Now I'm going to tighten the bottom one. Then I'm going to push against my bench to apply tension before I tighten down the next screw. You do not want to put so much tension though that once it springs open, it will bust your blade. But you'll get used to how much tension. Just press it in and then let go. Tighten the screw and let go. You will hear a ping when you flick the blade. This is a steel saw blade, so it's hard unless it's an old saw blade. It's hard to really put so much tension on it, but literally just push with your effort without forcing it too much. So just push and tighten. And that's all there is to it. And that's one of the reasons I love the Green Li-ion saw blades. This one's a little rusty. I need to get over there and I need to clean it up. I will sand it and I will lubricate it with 3-in-1 oil, and it'll be good to go. And that's how you saw, and that's how you change a saw blade. Click subscribe and tap the bell. You never know what's coming next.